Hi everyone, I'm Alex, one of the physios here at Revive Ashgrove. I'm going to be talking you through some simple tools for shoulder pain relief today. It's by no means an exhaustive list, but should get you on the right track. And if you need further help, please book in with one of our physios for a consult. So, our shoulders are some of the most mobile and complex joints in our body, and shoulder pain can greatly affect our lives. From getting dressed in the morning to typing at the computer to playing with your kids, a shoulder injury can greatly reduce what you can do. Shoulder pain can stem from various common injuries as well as muscle tightness due to overuse or imbalances and improper lifting, pulling, and pushing mechanics. It's also a joint that gets affected by other issues around the neck and elbow, so it's important to look at these structures as a whole. Implementing simple tools and strategies into your daily routine can help alleviate shoulder pain and tightness, as well as improve your mobility and strengthen the muscles around it. So, your shoulder is made up of several different joints and muscles, including your humerus in your arm, your shoulder blade or your scapula, and your collarbone or your clavicle. The surrounding muscles need to be relaxed and also strong enough to move all of these parts as a whole smoothly. Important muscles in your shoulder include your biceps, deltoids, traps, rotator cuff complex, and pecs. Let's go through a couple of trigger point release locations using the techniques we've previously discussed in other presentations, such as the neck pain video. Let's go through your pectoralis major muscle. So, the pec muscle is a large fan shaped muscle located here in through your chest that connects the sternum, clavicle, ribs, and humerus. It's prone to tightness from prolonged forward head and shoulder postures, and you can release your pecs with pressure or using a trigger ball. Just put the ball against the wall and then lean into it, being mindful to avoid any breast tissue, and just go through these common trigger points here. Another good muscle to trigger for shoulder pain is the infraspinatus muscle. It's located on the back of your shoulder blade and it's one of your four rotator cuff muscles. Trigger pointing and tightness can lead to referral of pain behind the shoulder blade and even all the way down the arm. You can release your infraspinatus with pressure or using a trigger ball by leaning backwards into the wall with the ball on your shoulder blade. You can also slightly move up and down, just being mindful to stay on your shoulder blade just close to the edge of it. Another important factor to consider with shoulder pain is your posture and movement. So, due to longer periods looking down and using our arms for activities in front of us rather than behind us, it's common to develop fairly rounded shoulders. To remedy this, we need to reduce the tightness of muscles in the front and also strengthen the muscles in the back to maintain a more even posture. Movement's also extremely important with shoulder pain. When you're working at a desk or holding tools for hours, this fatigues and exceeds the capacity of what a weak muscle can tolerate. It's important to vary your positioning and have regular breaks to stretch or move around. Ergonomics is also really important. So, if you're working at a desk, have your screen at eye level, your elbows at desk height, and then your feet flat on the ground. And this should set you up for success. Let's talk through stretching and mobility. So, there are several stretches that can reverse things like rounded shoulders and improve mobility of the shoulder joint itself in order to decrease your pain. It's also important to move through your full shoulder range as much as possible. So, doing things like raising your arms up in front of you and out to the side through that pain free range is going to be really helpful for your shoulder. Let's first talk through a pec stretch. So, this is going to stretch those fibers in through the front of your chest. What you're going to do is come up to a wall, bring your arm out to your side, 90 degrees up from the bottom, and then you're going to lean away from your arm. You should feel that that shoulder joint itself is on the wall, and then you're stretching just beyond that. And then you just want to hold it as long as you're comfortable until that muscle starts to release a little bit. Next one we're going to talk about is a lat stretch. So this is going to stretch your lat dorsi muscle in through your back. What you're going to do is grab something in front of you. You're going to twist your hand over like this and grab. And then with your arms straight, you're going to lean backwards with your legs straight as well, trying to feel a stretch in through the side there. You should have your arm slightly across your body as well. Let's talk about strengthening, which is arguably the most important part of this discussion. So, alongside neck and thoracic mobility that we've previously discussed in other talks, things like reduced mobility, control, and strength of the muscles around your shoulder blade or scapula may be contributing to dysfunction or not getting that last little bit of range that you require. This can be targeted with scapular-specific movements, such as a scapular push-up or side-lying arm slides, and it's important with these exercises that you're isolating the movement of the shoulder blade rather than twisting your back or bending your arms to compensate. This means that once you go to do more combined movements with your shoulder blade will be moving nicely. So to do something like a scapular push-up, you're going to start at an early stage in a 4-point kneeling position. Keep your arms straight the whole time with your shoulders over your hands. Then as you inhale, draw your chest to the ceiling, feeling your shoulder blades move apart. And then as you exhale, bring your chest towards the floor, squeezing your shoulder blades together. And you're going to repeat this for 10 slow breaths. Another important muscle group for your shoulder and your shoulder blade as well is your rotator cuff. And as I mentioned previously, infraspinatus is part of that. So strengthening the rotator cuff will aid with shoulder stabilization and control of your scapular through range. And this is important for things like lifting and reaching. A great exercise for this is a banded wall slide. So you're going to start at the wall with a band around your wrists so that when you push against the band, your elbows and hands are in line with your shoulder. Then you're going to push lightly against the band and slowly raise your arms up the wall without lifting your shoulders up like this, and then slowly back down again. Also, strengthening between your shoulder blades can aid with muscular endurance at work and getting you out of that rounded shoulder posture. Rowing exercises are great for this, where you squeeze your shoulder blades together without bringing your shoulders upwards. You can either use a weight or a band for these. The weighted option, you're going to adopt a 4-point position or lean over at a bench with your back flat. Then with a weight in your hand, you're going to squeeze your shoulder blade together and then bend the weight up towards the side of your body. Alternatively, you can wrap a band around a pole, step away so that you have some resistance, and then pull the band towards you, once again squeezing your shoulder blades together. It's really important you don't use your upper traps with any of these exercises. We want to be targeting your mid to lower traps and also your rhomboids. Here's a couple extra tips for shoulder pain. So it's really important to vary which shoulder you use and spread the load out more evenly. It's easy to use your dominant arm for most things without even thinking about the strength in your arm that's getting a bit less love. Commonly, we also see shoulder conditions popping up in the non-dominant shoulder due to weakness. Vary which arm you use for things like carrying your bag or carrying your groceries, as this offloads your dominant arm and starts to strengthen your shoulders more equally without putting too much pressure on that dominant arm. You could even use a backpack rather than a handbag, making sure to distribute the weight evenly and use both straps rather than hanging it off one shoulder. So that's just a couple of exercises and tips to manage your shoulder pain. There are a big long list of different things that you can target depending on what's wrong with your shoulder, but incorporating these tools and techniques into your daily routine can significantly reduce your shoulder pain and start to build up some load tolerance. Remember, consistency is key, and it's important to listen to your body and adjust where you need. If something's painful, don't do it as much. If you have any pre-existing conditions or concerns as well, consider consulting with one of our physios here at Revive. We're here to help you if you need any assistance with your exercises, if your pain's persisting beyond more generalized shoulder pain. So feel free to book in with one of our physiotherapists to discuss your shoulder today.